Bobi Wine on the bulletproof vehicle and that talk of 370m. Out of ignorance and sheer malice, some regime apologists, in response to our hard stance on corruption, have deliberately and repeatedly tried to drive the following false narratives. 1. That Museveni forgave us some taxes on the bulletproof vehicle. 2. That I was paid gratuity of 370 meters when I left Parliament. 1. On the first issue, that bulletproof vehicle was legally imported and subjected to all legal processes. We had brought it under someone else's name because we knew how they would react if they immediately knew it was Bobi Wine's car. It was taken to the Directorate of Interpol in Kololo and they fully cleared it. It was then taken to the Forensics Department of Police in Naguru, and they too cleared it. Then we took it to URA and they did their own independent verification and assessed the relevant tax of 88,612,027, which we paid in full. For several months, regime authorities raised no issue whatsoever. It was until we transferred the vehicle into my names that they panicked and tried to look for every reason to impound it. First, they claimed that bulletproof vehicles require the clearance of the Ministry of Defense, but there was no law to back this claim. After that, they wrote to us claiming that it was undervalued. They claimed that when the police first inspected it, they did not realize it was bulletproof. You can imagine. They then asked us to hand it back to them, which we did in April 2021. Also, following the discovery that it was my car, they sacked the URA, Interpol and forensics staff who cleared the vehicle. Some of them were even summoned by CMI for interrogation and detained. The man in whose name the car was imported had to run away from the country after receiving numerous threats. We immediately sued the Commissioner General of URA through our late brother, Counsel Wamali Anthony. Civil Suit Number 67 of 2021. It is then that they wrote back to us claiming that the car was undervalued. They claimed that instead of the 88,612,027 initially assessed, they should have charged 337,698,776.25 over 300 million shillings. As everyone can see, if the car belonged to any other Ugandan, they would never have asked for any extra money or even asked to re-inspect the vehicle. We believe that after realizing that this was my vehicle, they wanted to re-examine it and understand its features, or even plant some devices in there. No wonder, when they took it away, it was subjected to inspection by SFC and CMI operatives. Anyway, we applied for review of this outrageous tax in accordance with the law, and issued a notice to also sue them before the Tax Appeals Tribunal. After more than 2 months from the time they impounded it, they wrote to us returning the vehicle, and because they are a bunch of politicians doing Museveni's bidding, they claimed it was him who instructed them to hand it over. Even then, they claimed that the imposed tax was still outstanding, perhaps out of shame. They have never followed it up again because they know they had no legal basis whatsoever. Therefore, Museveni did not forgive us any tax on that vehicle. URA simply had no legal basis to impound it. 2. I have never received 370 million from Parliament, and I challenge anyone who says that to produce proof of the same. The only payment I received after leaving Parliament was out of the Mandatory Savings Scheme, established by the Parliamentary Pensions Act, 2006. Every month, Parliament deducts 15% off every MP's salary under this savings scheme. The law mandates the government to also make a contribution. It is the equivalent of NSSF for other sectors, because MPs do not save under NSSF. So this is not a favor from anyone but a mandatory payment guaranteed by law. It extends to every person who serves as Member of Parliament. Moreover, it is calculated based on the time you spend in Parliament, which is why I got much less than other MPs since I joined Parliament through a by-election. Actually at that time, if you were not yet 45 years of age and had not been in Parliament for more than 5 years, you could not even opt to keep your savings there. See Section 13 of the Act. I hope this clarifies both matters. The deliberate attempt to divert the population from seeking answers using false narratives and propaganda must be rejected and treated with contempt.